Swansea, Chelsea, April 1981. In this video we rewind to 1981 and a Wales versus England clash at Swansea's Vetchfield Stadium, where 6,000 Chelsea are the visitors for their last away match of the season. What could possibly go wrong? Let's hear the stories. First we have Swansea Jack legend Andy, who told us,
Supported Swansea for 60 years since 1965, so I've seen some firms down at the old Vetchfield Stadium, but the best firm I ever saw down here was Chelsea April 1981. This was in the old Division 2, or for younger readers, now called the Championship. It was their last away match of the season, and the word was they were bringing 5,000 or more, so everyone was buzzing. The town centre boozers, the Garibaldi and the Park pub were packed out with boys by 11 a.m. Chelsea were already in Swansea town centre and were mobbed up already, coming in from everywhere. We met head on near the Wyndham pub. We had them on their toes, heading back to the Garibaldi. We diverted down some back alleys and met them outside the Garibaldi, where they made their stand. It was toe-to-toe stuff. We started to get the upper hand just when the police turned up and ruined everything. We tried all sorts of tactics to get at them again, but couldn't get to them due to the police presence. We decided to get to the ground early, as we heard they were going to try and take our end, the North Bank. When we got in, there was already some Chelsea that had tried but been escorted to their own fans by the police, so we even missed that ruck as well. After the game, we had a massive mob and we tried to steam into their police escort time and time again. At Western Street and St Helens Road, we made concerted efforts to get to them, but the coppers moved us on using the dogs. We decided to head them off near to the YMCA, and sure enough, that's when we saw this massive Chelsea mob who had escaped their escort and were looking for us. We had a massive mob now, about 300 strong, but this Chelsea mob was more, perhaps 500 strong, and surged towards us. They were all over us. We just couldn't handle them. Game as fuck and rough as fuck. They overwhelmed us, and our boys had no choice but to back off. I've seen us back off a few times in my life, but nothing like this. By now, a full-blown retreat, not running away, but more organised retreat, I would call it. I somehow ended up in the middle of the Chelsea and tried to blag my way out, but I was sussed out and got a good kick in a shop doorway. Some of our boys saved me, and we then went on to dish out some revenge on some Chelsea stragglers. We decided to head for the station and try to redeem ourselves, but on arrival it was obvious the police had it sealed off, hundreds of them with vans and dogs, so our chance of redemption had gone. We weren't best pleased with ourselves, I can tell you. After that, we went back into the pub for a much needed drink when someone rushed in and told us Chelsea were coming down from Kingsway, mob-handed. There was only 30 of us, but we went out to face them. They steamed straight into us and ran us everywhere. Some of our boys took a right old kicking, and eventually we had to head back into the pub when the old Bill turned up and escorted them away. 2 defeats in one day was unheard of, so the recriminations begun in earnest. I told everyone there that this can never happen again, and that we stand from now on, whoever the opposition, and no matter how big their firm is. Everyone agreed. Just as well they did, because after drinking for a while, we were told Chelsea was still in town and wanting a rook. We got some reinforcements and marched into town and met them near British Home Stores. This time there was no running. We kicked the shit out of them, but there was only 50 of them, but some of their top boys were there. I spotted them early, so I was worried this firm might be too strong for our 100 or so. But numbers won the day, and we ran them all round the Littlewoods building site, lobbing bricks and poles at them as they ran. I remember them running away with their green flying bomber jackets on. It was the first time I saw them. I remember thinking we must smarted ourselves up. What with our baggy trousers and capped sleeve t-shirts. It's funny what you think about when you're chasing someone. Anyway, what a day that was. Never to be forgotten by all that was there. Chelsea were game as fuck and did us over twice. They only got a beating when we outnumbered them 2-1. We've dished out severe beatings to quite a few top firms, but Chelsea were evil that day. We've had West Ham, Millwall, Leeds, and just about all the top firms, but I gotta say, Chelsea were by far the best. Well organised and stuck together all day, until the last battle where they had to retreat really. Numbers help, I suppose, 6,000 of the buggers, but still their main firms was about 500 in game, as fuck as I say. On my personal experiences at the Vetch, I would go top 5: Chelsea, West Ham, Millwall, Leeds and Birmingham. On their own patch, my experience was slightly different. I would go West Ham, Millwall, Chelsea, Birmingham and Leeds. But then you could add into the mix Liverpool, Everton, Man United, Man City, Newcastle, Sunderland, Cardiff, Wolves and basically everywhere in the 70s and 80s. Any decent firm can catch you out.
Next is Chelsea Headhunters member Martin, who told us,
Swansea away, last away day of the season, April 1981. We'd been planning it for weeks. Word had gone round fast. Vetchfield was the target and we were going mobbed up. It wasn't just a casual away day. This was one to make a point. We'd had grief down there before, and this was our payback. Let's make it an easy day, one of the lads said over a pint in Paddington. But everyone knew this one was going to be proper. We were on the early train out of London, the 7:25 out of Paddington. At least 4 carriages rammed full of Chelsea. Not your average away support either. The top boys were out. Headhunters, regulars, the lot. Most had been drinking from the night before. By Bristol, the carriages were carnage. Cans flying. Coppers trying to walk through and getting laughed at. By the time we hit Swansea around 10:30 a.m, we were flying. We split into 2 mobs. One went straight into the town centre, the other held back, regrouping at a boozer the scouts had sorted. The main mob moved through the streets like a blue tide. We didn't bother hiding who we were. Stone Island, green bombers, wedge cuts. You could smell the anticipation in the air. There were a few little skirmishes with Swansea stragglers near the Park pub, but nothing major. We were just getting warmed up. By about 11:30, we'd hit the Garibaldi. That's where we expected the Jacks to front up, and they did. Hard. They came round the corner, mob-handed, and tried to pin us outside. It was toe-to-toe, raw. One of the lads got clocked with a pool cue and went down, but we stood firm. We held the line. The Swansea lot were up for it, but the moment the OB showed, dogs barking, batons flying, it all went sideways. Both mobs split. That part of town was like a war zone. Street signs ripped out, bottles flying, sirens everywhere. We pulled back, regrouped by the marina. The mood was electric. One of the old boys laughed, pint in hand. That was the starter. We were in early at the Vetch. Plan was simple. Take the North Bank. Take it and hold it. There were about 40 of us slipped in early. Plain clothes. Few wearing Swansea colours. Caused a bit of panic when we suddenly kicked off and tried to charge a pocket of Jacks. But the plod got wind and marched us round the pitch to our own end, much to the delight of the home fans. They jeered, but we laughed back. We'll see you after, one of us mouthed off. Second half, though, we got our way. A much bigger mob had made its way round and into the North Bank. This time, proper. About 200 of us swarmed in, took up position, and gave it large. Jacks didn't fancy it, or the OB didn't let them near. Either way, for an hour we had their end. Taking the piss, singing, waving tenors at them. Police eventually moved us back out, but we'd made our point. North Bank's blue, one of the lads scribbled on the wall as we left. After the game it was bedlam. Swansea were ready. We knew they would be. Their mob had gathered behind the main stand and were probing the police escort. Our firm was massive now, at least 500 strong. The police tried to snake us back to the station, but we weren't interested. We broke off, doubled back through side streets, and that's when we saw them. They were lined up near the YMCA, maybe 300 strong, standing their ground. But when we surged, they buckled. First 10 seconds was mutual chaos. Bricks, fists, boots. Then they backed off in waves. One of their main lads got caught trying to sneak out of the melee and got properly dealt with in a shop doorway. No mercy. A few of our boys pulled him off the pavement and gave him the boot, but some Jacks regrouped and pulled him clear. Fair play to him. He didn't cry, didn't beg. Took it like a man. We pushed them back street by street. The police came in again, dogs snapping at our ankles, batons swinging. We were scattered in small groups. It felt like a retreat, but we'd already won the day. "Let's not get nicked now," someone shouted. "Back to the station." But the station was on lockdown. Police everywhere. We ended up in Kingsway. Few of us ducked into a pub and regrouped. Pint in hand, blood still dripping from a cut lip, one of the boys said, "That was a fucking day." But it wasn't over. Word came through the Jacks were coming back, 100 strong this time. We were down to about 50. Still game though. They fronted us near British Home stores. This one didn't go our way. They had the numbers now, and they'd regroup properly. We gave as good as we got, but slowly got pushed back. Bricks rained in from the Littlewood site. Few lads went down. We retreated. Not panicked, just smart. A couple of their lot tried to chase and got lured into side streets where they got worked over. But we knew it was time to wrap it up. Job done. Back to the station eventually, sore but buzzing. 2 wins out of 3. Took their end. Smashed them toe to toe. Only lost the last skirmish when they came back mob-handed. No shame in that. Swansea.
We thank Andy and Martin for their recollections. It's clear Chelsea won the day, but Swansea were far from a pushover. Sometimes it's just a numbers game, and Chelsea certainly had the numbers with 6,000 turning up, of which possibly 500 were headhunters, so to speak. The attendance that day was only 18,000, so a third were Chelsea or thereabouts. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, as it really helps our channel grow to give you bigger, better content. Until the next video, bye for now.